Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Meuthia Khansa from 5BD class. In research methodology, I would like to tell you about questionnaires. This is the definition of questionnaires. So, questionnaire is a research instrument consisting of a series of questions for the purpose of gathering information from respondents. Questionnaires can be thought of as a kind of written interview. They can be carried out face-to-face, telephone, computer, or post. Questionnaires provide a relatively cheap, quick, and efficient way of obtaining large amounts of information from a large sample of data. So this is the characteristic from questionnaires. First, uniformity. Questionnaires are very useful to collect demographic information, personal opinions, and then facts or attitudes from respondents. And one of the most significant attributes of a research form is uniform design and standardization. Every respondent sees the same questions. This helps in data collection and statistical analysis of this data. Second, exploratory. It should be exploratory to collect qualitative data. There is no restriction on questions that can be in your questionnaire. And the last is question sequence. It is typically follows a structured flow of questions to increase the number of responses. This sequence of questions is screening questions, warm-up questions, transition questions, skip questions, challenging questions, and classification questions. And this is the advantages from questionnaires. First, with a survey questionnaire, you can gather a lot of data in less time. And then second is there is less chance of any bias creeping if you have a standard set of questions to be used to your target audience. In here, you can apply logic to questions based on the respondents' answers, but the questionnaire will remain standard for a group of respondents that fall in the same segment. And third, surveying online. Survey software is quick and cost effective, and it offers you a rich set of features to design, distribute, and analyze the response data. Next, it can be customized to reflect your brand voice. Thus, it can be used to reinforce your brand image. And then, the responses can be compared with the historical data and understand the shift in respondents' choices and experiences. And the last is respondents can answer the questionnaire without revealing their identity. Also, many survey software complies with significant data security and privacy regulations. Usually, people who give us a questionnaire, they always, not always, but they will give a questionnaire, and if you want, if and they give us a chosen that we can give our full name or just initial of our name. And this is types of questionnaire. So there are two types of questionnaire. First is structured questionnaires. In structured questionnaires collect quantitative data. The questionnaire is planned and designed to gather precise information. It also initiates a formal inquiry, supplements data, and checks previously accumulated data. And it also helps validate any prior hypothesis. And the second is unstructured questionnaires. Unstructured questionnaires collect qualitative data, and they use a basic structure and some branching questions, but nothing that limits the responses of a respondent, and then the questions are more open-ended to collect specific data from participants. And this is types of questions in questionnaires. So in questionnaires, first is open-ended question. So open-ended question allow people to express what they think their own words, and open-ended questions enable the respondent to answer in as much detail as they like in their own words. So, for example, in here, can you tell me how happy you feel right now? And then the respondents can answer it based on their own words. And next is dichotomous questions. And dichotomous dichotomous question dichotomous questions is generally it's a yes or no and close-ended question. So in this question is usually used in case of the need for necessary validation. It is the most natural from of a questionnaire. So in here, the respondents only can answer by yes or no. And the next is multiple choice questions. So multiple choice questions are a close-ended questions type in which a respondent has to select one or many responses from a given list of options. And the multiple choice question consists of an incomplete stem or a question, right answer or answers, incorrect answers, close alternatives, and distractors. And of course, not all types of multiple choice questions have all of the answer types. And then, for example, you probably won't have the wrong or right answers if you are looking for customer opinion. And the next is scaling questions. Scaling questions are based on the principles of the four measurement scales: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. And a few of the question types that utilize these scales, fundamental properties are rank order questions, Likert scale questions, semantic differential scale questions, and staple scale questions. And the last is pictorial questions. And for these questions, type is easy to use and encourage respondents to answer. It works similarly to a multiple choice questions. Respondents are asked a question and the answer choice are imaged. And then this helps respond choose an answer quickly and without overthinking their answers, giving you more accurate data. And then the next is types of questionnaires based on distribution. And in types of questionnaires based on distribution, there are four types. First is online questionnaire, second telephone questionnaire, third in-house questionnaire, and the last is mail questionnaires. And for first online questionnaire, in this type, respondents are sent the questionnaire via email or other online mediums. And this method is generally cost effective and time efficient. I'm sorry. And then respondents can also answer at leisure. So without the pressure to respond immediately, responses may be more accurate. And then the disadvantage, however, is that respondents can easily ignore these questionnaires. And then second is telephone questionnaire. For questionnaire, a researcher makes a phone call to a respondent to collect responses directly. so they have to call the respondents, and then responses are quick once you have a respondent on the phone. And then, however, a lot of times the respondents hesitate to give up much information over the phone, and then it's also an expensive way of conducting research, and then we are usually not able to collect as many responses as other types of questionnaires, so maybe your sample may not represent the broader population. And then third, in-house questionnaire. In this type is used by a researcher who visits the respondent's home or workplace. So the advantage of this method is that the respondent is in a comfortable and natural environment, and in-depth data can be collected. And the disadvantage too is that this is expensive and slow to conduct because we must go by from one home to another home, from one workplace to another workplace. And then the fourth and the last is male questionnaire. For male questionnaire, these are starting to be obsolete but are still being used in some market research studies. And then this method involves a researcher sending a physical data collection questionnaire request to a respondent that can be filled in and sent back. And then the advantage of this method is that respondents can complete this on their own time to answer truthfully and entirely. But the disadvantage is that this method is expensive and time consuming. And then there's also a high risk of uh, not collecting enough responses to make actionable insights from the data. And then this is the differences between a questionnaire and a survey. From the meaning, questionnaire is a research instrument that consists of a set of questions to collect information from a respondent. And for survey is a research method used for collecting data from a predefined group of respondents to gain information and insights on various topics of interest. Uh, and then what is questionnaire? Questionnaire is the instrument of data collection, and survey is the process of collecting and analyzing that data. And then from the characteristic, questionnaire is subset of survey, but survey consists of questionnaire and survey design, logic, and data collection. And for time and cost, questionnaire is fast and cost effective, but for survey, it's much slower and expensive. For use, questionnaire conducted on the target audience, but for survey, it is distributed or conducted on respondents. For questions, questionnaire close-ended and very rarely open-ended, and for survey, it can be close-ended and open-ended. For answer, questionnaires is objective, but for survey, it can be subjective or objective. I think that's all. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.